Привіт, друзі! Ласкаво прошу на канал VERBA. And today we are having the 6th Ukrainian grammar lesson for beginners. And if previous time we were talking about the structure I have in present tense, today we will speak about the same structure but in the past and future tense, because sometimes we need to say that we had something or that we will have something. And we will find out how to say it in Ukrainian. Probably you remember that in Ukrainian we have two types of the structure to say I have. У мене є машина, я маю машину. These structures are synonyms. And it's logical that in past tense we also may use both of them. But how to form them? У мене є машина in the past tense will sound like у мене була машина. So you could see that we replaced the verb є, which in present tense didn't change. It was є for all the forms. We replace it with the verb була. This is the past form of the verb є. Була. But it is feminine. And you can see that in the past tense we have 4 different forms of the verb to be, which in present is є, but in past tense it has 4 forms. Masculine був, feminine була, neuter було, and plural були. On what it depends? It depends on the object. In this structure, object rules everything. So if your object in the past tense was masculine, then you use the form був. Like an example. У мене був урок. Урок is masculine, so we use був. If it was feminine, then була. У них була лекція. Лекція is feminine, so we say була. If it was neuter, then було. Заняття. It's like a lesson, a practice as well. So it's neuter, so we say було заняття. У нього було заняття. And if it is plural, we say були. У неї були зустрічі. Зустрічі is a plural form. So this is how we work with this structure in the past tense. What about the second structure? Я маю in the past tense will sound like я мала машину. Or for men it will be я мав машину. So we also use the verb мати, but in the past tense. And usually it also has 4 forms. But here the form depends not on the object, but on the subject. And usually subject will almost never be neuter, right? That is why I don't give you the neuter form. I give you just 3 of them, so it's a little bit easier. Masculine мав, feminine мала, and plural мали. So if the subject in the past tense, so the person who had something, was masculine, then we would say мав. For example, if you're a man, you would say я мав урок. Я мав урок. I, as a woman, would say я мала урок. The same about the pronoun ти. Ти can be both masculine or feminine. We know it just from the context. If I say ти to you, I know if you're a woman or man. And I could say ти мав or ти мала according to your gender. And about plural, of course, we always use мали. Ми, ви, вони, мали. Let's take a look at the examples. Я мала урок. Я мав лекцію. Чоловік, so a man says this phrase. Я мав лекцію. Ми мали зустріч. We had a meeting. Ми мали зустріч. So once again, what is the biggest difference between these two structures? In the first structure, the form of the verb, its gender and number depends on the object. And in the second structure, it depends on the subject. This is the biggest difference that you need to remember. Also, let's take a look at some vocabulary that may help us to speak about the past tense. Вчора. Вчора. Yesterday. So we could say, вчора у мене був урок. Or вчора я мав урок. Or мала for women. Нещодавно. Нещодавно. Recently. Нещодавно у мене була зустріч. Нещодавно я мав or мала зустріч. Раніше. Раніше, and here you can see we have different translations according to the context. But basically it also means earlier, before, in the past. So, раніше у мене була гітара. Раніше я мала гітару. So I had it in the past. В дитинстві. В дитинстві. Literally means in my childhood, but we usually translate it as when I was a kid or when I was small. So, в дитинстві у мене був акваріум. В дитинстві я мав акваріум. And another phrase that some of you may need. В молодості. В молодості. When I was young, literally in my youth. В молодості у мене був велосипед. В молодості я мав or мала велосипед. So this vocabulary maybe will help you to speak about the past tense. Oh, you see, Solomia, my helper, reminds me to ask you to give a thumb up to this video, поставити вподобайку цьому відео і підписатися на канал, якщо ви ще не підписані. So do subscribe this channel if you are not subscribed yet. So let's go on. Now we will practice a little bit. You have a quiz here. I am asking you to stop the video, to take your time, and to write down the correct answers for yourself. To think which form of the verb you need in each of these sentences. And in a few seconds we will check it out. Ready? Let's check. So, you could see. Вчора у мене був екзамен. В дитинстві у неї був глобус. Глобус, it's like a globe, right? A map of the world, the round one. Раніше у нас була машина. Here all the verbs depend on the object. Машина, глобус, екзамен. In the second column, we have a little bit different situation. Here the verbs depend on the subject. В молодості він мав мотоцикл. Він мав. Because it's він, he, masculine form. Раніше вона мала бізнес. Вона мала. Раніше ми мали магазин. Ми мали, plural. And нещодавно вони мали зустріч. Вони мали, plural form. So this is it about the past tense. Now the future tense. And again we go back to our two types of the structures. The first one, essay structure. У мене є машина. In the future tense will be у мене буде машина. So буде is a future form of the verb є. Or the verb бути, to be. So, if you need to say that you will have something, again, the form of the verb will depend on the object in this structure. But here you already don't care about the gender. You care only about the number. If you will have something singular, then we would say у мене буде урок, у мене буде лекція, у мене буде заняття. If you will have something plural, then you will use будуть, the form будуть. У мене будуть уроки, у мене будуть лекції, у мене будуть заняття. So you don't think about the gender, and this is a good news. And honestly, I recommend you to use actually this structure in the future tense. Because we have, of course, the second structure. And it even has two possible variants, because in Ukrainian for imperfective verbs we have 2 possible variants of conjugation in the future tense. It's okay to use them, but we use them more rarely. So in the future we more often use the essay structure. У мене буде or у мене будуть. Then this one. Of course you can see it, of course you can use it as well, but for now, for beginners, it may be a little bit more challenging. But still, let's read the possible variants. Я буду мати машину or я матиму машину. So we can see that we have 2 types of the verb мати in the future tense. The first one is complex structure from 2 words. Я буду мати. So the verb to be plus infinitive form of the verb to have, мати. And it will change only the word буду according to the pronoun. Я буду мати, ти будеш мати, він буде мати, ми будемо мати, ви будете мати, вони будуть мати. And the object in accusative case. Or it could be just the verb мати with certain endings. These are its conjugations in the future tense. Я матиму, ти матимеш, він, вона матиме, ми матимемо, ви матимете, вони матимуть. Of course, you can also memorize those forms, but I think in the beginning it's better to use у мене буде, у мене будуть. It's more simple. Also, let's take a look at some vocabulary that may help you to speak about the future tense. Завтра. Завтра. Tomorrow. Завтра у мене буде тренування. Or, for example, завтра я матиму тренування. Скоро. Soon. Скоро. Скоро у мене буде iPhone. Скоро я буду мати or я матиму iPhone. And the last one here. Незабаром. It's also soon, synonym of скоро. Means in a short period of time from now. Незабаром. Незабаром. So, незабаром у нас будуть гості. Or незабаром ми будемо мати гостей. Or ми матимемо гостей. But again, I recommend you the first variants. And let's take a look at more examples now. So, скоро у мене буде урок. Скоро у них буде машина. Незабаром у них буде дитина. Скоро у неї будуть екзамени. Among these 4 examples, only the last one was plural. And possible variants for мати. Скоро я буду мати or матиму урок. Скоро вони будуть матимуть машину. Незабаром вони будуть мати or матимуть дитину. І скоро вона буде мати or матиме екзамени. But I recommend you the first ones. I said it already so many times, sorry about this, but I really recommend it. So, a small quiz. Again, you need to stop the video to think, to write down correct variants, and in a few seconds we will check it out. Готові? Ready? Let's check it out. So, завтра у мене буде екзамен. Екзамен is singular, so we use буде. Скоро у неї буде машина. Незабаром у нас будуть гості. Plural, because гості is plural. Завтра у них буде концерт. Скоро у вас буде лекція. And the right column. More rare structure. Скоро він буде мати or матиме мотоцикл. Завтра ми будемо мати or матимемо екзамен. Незабаром вони будуть мати or матимуть проблеми. Very scary sentence. Okay, so now to sum it up a little bit. We have past tense and future tense. And two forms in each tense. Let's begin with past tense. So, to say I had something, you need to use у мене plus the verb to be in past tense. We have four forms: masculine, feminine, neuter, and plural. Був, була, було, були. And its form depends on the object. Another way is to conjugate in the past tense the verb мати. But then its form will depend on the subject. Masculine мав, я мав, ти мав, він мав, if it's a man. Я, ти, вона мала, if it's a woman. And plural form ми, ви, вони мали, if it's plural form. So these forms are almost equal. You can use both of them for sure. About the future tense we have a favorite structure. This one. У мене буде or у мене будуть. And here the verb to be in the future tense, буде, будуть, depends on the object. If your object is singular, then буде. If your object is plural, then будуть. And we have the fourth form. I will not even read it now because probably you will not use it right now. But if you're more advanced, you can write down these forms and practice them as well. This is all what I want to tell today. As usual, these slides are available on my Patreon account. If you want to support my Ukrainian language project, you may join me on Patreon. I will be very glad. And as usual, I say a huge thank you to all my patrons who are helping me to film these videos. You can see the list of these great people on my screen, and I am thankful to each of them and to those patrons who were supporting me previously in the hardest time. So thank you guys, really I appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoy these lessons. I will be glad to read your feedback in the comments. And that's all. See you soon. Bye bye.